Good morning and welcome. I'm Karen. This is Runic Dreams Coaching and Tarot. Today is Wednesday. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. It's our daily reading. I'm going to use the Runic Tarot today. We'll take a look at current situation and the influences around that. I will use Somnia for clarifying and the Gilded Tarot Royale for our yes nos at the end of the video. So let's get started. I hope you all are doing fantastic. If I haven't already said that. I don't have a script, so sometimes I don't know if I missed something or not. It's really going to be nice today, but then the cool weather comes back tomorrow. Lovely spring. I love spring though. I have a tree in the front. That's a pretty new tree because I have a newer house, and it's just so nice seeing the leaves start to come out. I love the growth. Okay, let's get started. What do we need to know? Ugh. Come on. What do we need to know today? What do we need to know? Whew. Current situation, please. Six of Wands. Didn't we have that yesterday? Maybe not. I'll have to look. Present influence. Lovers. Future influence. King of Cups. Woohoo! What we need to look for. Ace of Swords. Unexpected. Four of Pentacles. Challenge. Queen of Cups. Strength. She was upside down. Knight of Cups. Look at all these cups. Wow. It's interesting though. The Queen is facing away from the Knight, like they're facing the other way. So that's interesting energy. Huh. Okay. Where does this lead? Seven of Pentacles, Temperance, King of Swords. That just feels like truth to me, like it's some kind of truth. Nine of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. We did have this yesterday. I do remember that. So I do feel like, I feel this is a really good reading. So I think there's going to be some really nice energy over the next couple days. And the Nine of Wands is, about the hard work, but realizing that your persistence is paying off and that you continue to work for it and keep moving forward. So it does feel very positive to me. With the Six of Wands in the current situation, this is about being recognized. And there's also Lovers in the present influence. I'm going to clarify this because I don't know if this is something you're recognizing within this situation, Lovers, partnership, relationship, or if this is actually wrong way. Actually someone recognizing you. So let's take a quick look. I do like the energy though, because I feel like sometimes I see the Lovers and I don't always see a positive card, but I do feel like there is one here. And it may be just the cards surrounding it. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. Tell me about this. Tell me about the tell me about the Lovers first. Let's do the influence first before we do the situation. Tell me about this Lovers card, please. Nine of Wands, Judgment, and Eight of Cups. So there's something here with, so, the Nine of Wands again, that hard work. And then we have the Judgment, which to me is some kind of renewal. So this is someone that maybe there was a decision on renewing or walking away from, or this is the decision of renewing and walking away from, excuse me. But I feel like there may have been the realization here with the Nine of Wands is maybe you didn't realize there was a choice. In other words, maybe this partnership, you thought they were walking away from you, and now there's a realization. That's the recognition, the realization of, no, this is kind of my choice. And it kind of comes like as a surprise because you really didn't think it was up to you. If that makes any sense. Yeah, that's what I think the situation is. That's what the recognition is. And I do feel like though it's positive because either way, it's kind of, it's put it back in your lap, which is good and bad, right? Because then there might be decisions to be made. But I do feel like with the Ace of Swords, at the what to look for, it's look for the truth. You know, communicate. That's the most important thing here, especially if this is something that's coming back around. If it wasn't, if it didn't make it and there was a retreat, why was that retreat? And even if, I mean, so in other words, if you want it to work, then there needs to be communication. But and that's with anything, you know, anything that hasn't worked in the past. If you want it to work, there just has to be communication. So we have the King of Cups in the future influence. I do feel like this is you know, almost I feel like this could be energy with just kind of, you know, going with it for a while. Just let it be. Don't put too much control. Don't overthink, that kind of thing. Tell me more about this King of Cups. Five of Cups, Four of Cups, Queen of Cups. There's a lot of emotional stuff happening here for sure. Yeah, there's like I feel like this King of Cups is, yeah, you kind of going with the flow. Here's what I see. The Queen of Cups is looking back at that Four of Cups and that Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is about a disappointment. The Four of Cups is about having, you know, a wish that, I think that's what the disappointment was, is that you didn't feel like you were getting what you wanted or needed, or someone disappointed you. The Four of Cups can be about trying to get something and being offered something else. I feel like the Queen of Cups is looking back, and this is the go with the flow here. Because if you're looking back and going, what happened? The King is the reminder that it's just time to allow things to flow, allow things to happen. Don't force things. I feel like there's a lesson here or something, especially with the Ace of Swords and then ending with the King of Swords. Because anytime we're dealing with our heart space, which is all these cups, you know, it's really easy to follow the heart. And I'm not saying that that's bad at all, but it's also easy to want to control that. And I don't mean it in a controlling type of way, but, you know, really wanting something. And when it comes to matters of the heart, we can't control how other people feel. But what we can do is control what we say, how we act, um, you know, the communication piece to it. So, and that's what the Ace of Swords is. And I feel like that's all that is looking for, it's asking you, you know, to communicate, look for the truth. Not only the truth within someone else, but the truth within yourself. And look for that truth. And that, I think that will let you know what to do. And I think here in the unexpected, the Four of Pentacles is also a realization that, yeah, you know what? You're hanging in there and you realize that. I also think you see the positive of that. Sometimes when we hang in there and for a situation, we're holding on to a situation, it's not always good. And sometimes it is. And you never know what, you know, it's hard to tell. I mean, unless intuitively you're spot on. But again, matters of the heart can take over. They just do, you know. And maybe not for all people, but in this case with all these cups, that's what I'm feeling. But the Four of Pentacles is that stability, because it's a pentacle and it's stable and it's the four and it's hanging in there, and it also in this deck is a reminder of everything that you've learned along the way. And I think that's the key here, is to know to communicate and and then you're going to realize, hey, you know what? This is what's happened. This is the lessons I've learned. these are the tools that I've, gotten along the way too, that I've been able to, mental tools, social tools, anything, any kind of, tools like that. That's what I'm saying. Not like tools like a wrench, but so I do feel like that's really good. I think that's really good energy in itself. That realization, I think, helps you to also, like the King of Cups, you're just kind of going to be hanging in there, going with the flow for a little bit. It's like seeing things out. How is this all going to pan out? And I feel like that's why the Seven of Pentacles is there too. So the Queen of Cups, I'm a little confused with this in the challenge. Um, I feel like it's the energy, the challenge that you'll have to deal with is staying in the past too much. Um, but let's look, because she's looking towards all of these past cards. Tell me about the Queen of Cups in the challenge. What does this mean? Queen of Cups, please. Ace of Pentacles, Eight of Wands. Wow. I mean, wow. I'm not sure why this isn't a challenge. Ace of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, Knight of Wands. Those are super good cards. Um, I think that the challenge is staying in the present and moving forward, because Ace of Pentacles is a new opportunity. Eight of Wands is forward movement. Knight of Wands is forward movement as well. And I think it's be careful to stay in the past energies. So even if this is a situation that's being renewed, just a reminder that the ace, the communication, something does need to change. Right? If it didn't work in the past, why? Or if you were hurt, disappointed, what do I need to learn from that? So I think the challenge is going to be how to move forward, not moving forward, how to move forward um, correctly, to get the best out of it. So we have the Knight of Cups in the positive. I do feel like there's something that kind of takes your breath away here. And when I say that not in a, I don't feel like it's grand. It could be for some of you grandiose type of way, but it's more, like, I don't know. I feel like it's just a really sweet love kind of coming in here. Anytime I see the Knight of Cups, I'm thinking romance, but I think of it as coming in, like something's coming in towards you. Tell me more about the Knight of Cups in our positive. Ace of Wands, Temperance, Ace of Swords. So I do feel like there's going to be, that's good. Like there is a new opportunity, and it's going to bring um, more balance here, emotional balance, because the truth is involved now with the Ace of Swords. And I like that, because that's the positive, knowing how to move forward with this. And I think that's why the Seven of Pentacles is there. So the Seven of Pentacles is, where does this lead? Well, that's about, reaping the rewards of your hard work. And I feel like you're going to understand whether this was worth it or not. And that's kind of going to be where you're at. Now, this is like, moving forward. So this could be a slight, um, I actually feel like this is like you realizing the work is going to pay off, to be honest with you, because we've got the Temperance. And the Temperance is, to me, about I'll clarify this. It's, really about balance. Also, it's alchemy as well. And also it's the fire and water. I always see that with the Temperance, the fire and the water combining, because there's the passion with the love, and then you put that together, and it's very nice energy. Tell me more about the Temperance and where this leads. What is this Temperance, please? What is this Temperance? Strength, Page of Cups. There's that Page of Cups. Five of Wands. Yeah. I feel like that there is going to be a conversation, like the Page of Cups. So you've had to be strong. The Page of Cups is an offer of some sort or a gift. And then the Five of Wands is part of the passion, but I think it's what the Temperance is understanding the balance here, moving forward. Um, you know, I think it's understanding the balance. And you will. That's the key here. But then the King of Swords, I just feel like that's a conversation. I think the King of Swords coming in could be the communication. Tell me more about this King of Swords. I don't dislike this King of Swords right here, but it could be hard because there could be something that you have to hear. Again, making sure that this is all done differently, learning the truth, understanding what you're holding on to, moving forward. Is it worth it? I have choices now. I didn't think I did. And so I feel like you're going to be really looking at that. Tell me more about the King of Swords. Four of Pentacles, Temperance again. The Temperance is showing up all over the place. So there is something to be said about that balance. Yeah, I feel like that. So we've got Two of Pentacles, which is also balance. So there could be something here. I just think this is kind of the truth. And I think it's the truth too about where you stand in a situation. But the King of Swords isn't necessarily a person. It's the energy of speaking honestly and straightforward. Now, I'm going to say this because a lot of times when I say that with the king, it's not always an easy conversation. Sometimes when someone is so straight up, it can be hurt. They don't do it with a soft heart. They're, but they're not, it's not necessarily meant to be mean. It's just meant to be, you need to hear this and it's important. So to remind yourself to really take that just as that, like, this is just, never mind feelings, never mind anything else. This is just what needs to be said. And I feel like that's what's going to be happening here. So let's get the advice here. What is our advice for today? Eight of Cups, it's not asking you to walk away, but it is asking you to make sure of what direction you want to go in. The Eight of Cups is also, to me, it's a very spiritual card. So I do feel like it's saying, okay, know that, how do I put this? Sometimes my words have been losing me lately. Um, or I've been losing my words. I get the feeling that it's really just about allowing yourself just to be, with that King of Cups energy of just kind of going with the flow. I feel like that's what this is. Don't try to control the destiny here. Control, the only thing you can control is the journey and how you do things. And I know this isn't a control card or anything like that, but trust the journey. Trust and enjoy the journey. Don't worry about, I'm not, well, I'm not gonna say don't worry about the ending. In other words, don't do anything stupid or, like, like, you know what I mean by that. I'm saying stupid. I mean, like, I'm not going to try to even, if you understand, you do, it's not a diss to anybody, but, understand that the journey is very important and it's not always where we land because the journey may take us to exactly where we need to land. So it's asking you to trust the journey and enjoy the journey as well. So let's do our yes or no. I'm going to use the Gilded Tarot. So if you need to pause it, I'm going to give this a couple shuffles. So if you want to pause the video and think of a question, I'm going to pull 3 cards for 3 different questions, or you can choose the card you want as your answer, whatever suits you. So 3 cards, please, for our yes or no's. 3 cards. 3 cards. Let's do this. Okay. First card, question 1. Question 2. Question 3. Oh, I like that. The sun's at the bottom of the deck. Okay, I'm going to pull them. So if you're not ready, pause. Here we go. Okay, the judgment is the first card. And so if you chose that card, absolutely yes. Also, I got the message, live in the moment. I'm not sure why I got that, but live in the moment. This is a yes. Um, I just feel like it's live in the moment. That's what I'm getting here. So question 2. Oh, this is temperance. Temperance is a maybe. Temperance is one of those cards where I feel like it's really good. If this is something that, I guess, should I, yes or no question? This is, you can do whatever you want. You need to put the work in. She's an alchemist. Also, watch, though, it could be a maybe because you need to watch that emotion. Keep your emotion in check if you want a good outcome. And when I say in check, okay, we all have to. I mean, I'm a firm believer in emotions, but I feel like this is saying don't get over angry. That kind of emotion. Don't overthink something. Stay in a nice state if that's what it is. But this is a maybe for sure. And the next one is Knight of Swords. Okay. I feel like this could be a no. And the reason is because sometimes the Knight of Swords is kind of mean. But if you really want something, you really have to have that target set and head for that target. Yeah, I know up here I was saying go with the flow, but that's on this situation. If there's something like, if you want a promotion, or if something, really set your target and really go for it. But I feel like this answer is a no, as of right now. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know. Take care. Have a beautiful day and hit that thumbs up button. It does help. Take care.